When looking back at the NBA, there is one man that has impacted the league more than anybody else, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the man himself, Mr. David Stern. If you're unfamiliar with Stern, he was a businessman, lawyer, and commissioner for the NBA. This man was so powerful that almost any change he requested became true, so when he predicted the future of the NBA, you better have believed him. This is why in today's video, we'll be listing the changes he made to the NBA to help make it what it is today. In 1980, he used his new rule to create his first ever policy, drug testing. With the creation of this rule, it seemed to the world that the NBA knew they had a problem. In this policy, if a player came forward voluntarily about their problem, they would retain their salary and receive treatment. The second time, they'd receive treatment but no salary, and the third time, the player would be gone from the NBA for life. This has caused many players to be banned during the 1980s. However, in the long run, this was highly beneficial for the NBA as we saw drug use getting reduced by players throughout the years. The second policy we'll be discussing is the salary cap reduction. Yes, that's right, all those them to get better salaries. This has made many young boys dream of becoming athletes and idolize these basketball players. In order to promote the NBA even further, Stern has allowed the upcoming basketball stars to shine in their own light by creating their own brands and deals with other brands. This has caused the rise of Nike and Adidas thanks to the sneaker deals they had with the most talented players. Just look at how much Nike grew because of their partnership with Michael Jordan. Stern's efforts to grow the NBA internationally didn't go unnoticed, and even though his prediction for them becoming massive in Europe never happened, according to ABC News, during Stern's time as commissioner, he still managed for the NBA to play more than 150 international games, be televised in more than 200 countries and territories, and in more than 40 languages, and the NBA Finals and All-Star Weekend would grow into international spectacles. But how did Stern achieve such amazing success for the NBA? Basketball and the NBA were not that big outside of the USA and a few European countries. This is why in the late 1980s, Stern started expanding, and one of the biggest deals was with China. Stern signed a deal with CCTV, a Chinese broadcasting network, allowing them to broadcast NBA games, and with over 1 billion people living in China, it is no wonder that with the years to come, China grew to become the biggest consumer of the NBA brand. This was, of course, boosted even further with Yao Ming being such a star in the league. The original Dream Team goes to the Olympics? Yes, it sounds unbelievable for us too, but in order to help the international audience get more familiar with the NBA, Stern decided to send the first ever Dream Team into the Olympics. This was unheard of. Usually, the athletes in the Olympics are amateurs, and up until that point, the United States had only sent amateurs to represent them. However, in 1992, this all changed when the Dream Team took to the stage of the Olympics. Thanks to Stern, the NBA cares. Or so he claimed when he created the program NBA Cares, a program that focuses on addressing social issues worldwide. This was created in order for the NBA and its members to be more humanized, as well as for them to give back to the community. Up until that point, AIDS had been looked at as a very big deal. During that period of time, people had been very scared of it, and many would be scared to even come near you if you had HIV. However, Stern was not worried about being a controversial man. He sat by Magic and helped him through announcing to the world that he was HIV positive and retiring.
The dazzling career of one of the world's best-known athletes is over.
I just want to make clear, first of all, that I do not have the AIDS disease, because I know a lot of you want to know that, but HIV virus.
Magic Johnson confirmed today that he has the AIDS virus.
A year later, he allowed Magic Johnson, who had been open about having AIDS, to play in the 1992 Dream Team. Stern might have had a total of 7 new franchises during his time as commissioner, but it is important to mention that he was the one responsible for the expansion into Canada and introducing the Toronto Raptors and the Vancouver Grizzlies into the league. Stern was a true fighter for equality, and after he managed to make players' wages fairer, his next mission was starting the women's NBA. Yes, if you're a fan of women's basketball, then you have David Stern to thank for making it happen. In 1996, Stern helped found the WNBA in order for women to enjoy the game of basketball with a well-organized and professional league. The WBL was the first women's basketball association in the United States. However, it didn't get backed by the NBA and was closed down in 1981 after playing for 3 seasons. Meanwhile, the WNBA is still well and running 24 years later, except for the disruption of this season due to the coronavirus pandemic. The malice at the Palace was the one night David Stern could erase if he could. After that horrible night, Stern was determined to make the NBA and NBA players look like they had moved on from that night. This is why he has made one of his more controversial judgments by creating a dress code. This banned players from wearing things such as do-rags, chains, medallions, t-shirts, and jeans. According to this dress code, if a player was sitting on the sidelines or injured, he must be wearing a blazer or a suit. To no one's surprise, this caused some backlash, especially from Allen Iverson, one of the biggest players in the league during that time. He opposed this new dress code as much as possible, as he believed that it suppressed hip-hop culture, which meant it also suppressed black culture. He and many other players felt like this was part of their identity and that their self-expression was being taken away. We have heard of many basketball players being drafted straight out of high school back in the days. However, this is one thing that David Stern made sure to change. Starting in 2006, NBA draft players needed to be at least 19 and couldn't be straight out of high school in order for them to participate in the league. This created the one-and-done rule where players would be drafted after 1 year of college. This helped players gain maturity mentally and physically, as well as have a chance to improve on their education. Although this looks ever increasingly likely to be changed back. In 2011, Stern didn't allow for a 3-team trade, sending Pau Gasol to the Rockets, Chris Paul to the Lakers, and Lamar Odom to the league-owned Hornets. This was heavily criticized, especially because when asked about it, Stern said it was for basketball reasons.
I hate to press you on it. I don't want to break decorum, but
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
the Hornets didn't make out as well in that trade as they would have made out in the earlier trade in terms of talent.
We
The
can't-
best player they got is injured, and the draft pick is the same draft pick. So
I could go toe to toe. It wouldn't be a breaking decorum. It would be taking a lot of people's time, arguing about whether we thought Marc Gasol would ever be an All-Star. Right?
I think we've always been in agreement on that, David.
That Marc Gasol was.
Yes.
You knew he was going to be an All-Star?
Absolutely, sir. I
Marc
cover a lot of
Gasol.
international
Okay,
basketball.
I have no further questions for the witness then. Next question.
Paul, who is the strongest player of the three, would have made the Lakers much stronger and therefore have given them an unfair advantage as they were already the strongest team and had very talented players. Of course, and after the league had been criticized for teams having all the good players in previous years, David Stern probably felt like it was time to equal the playing field. What are your thoughts on David Stern? Let us know in the comments. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up and click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest news from the world of the NBA. Just a quick reminder that we post Monday to Friday, so make sure to hit the bell icon to get notified when we post our videos. Thanks again for watching and check out some of these videos.